Hey guys, what is going on? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show, coming at you for Sunday night of June 23rd, 2019. We are talking WWE Stomping Grounds, the very first WWE Stomping Grounds. It is the inaugural pay-per-view event. We're going to talk a lot more about that in just a hot second. Hey man, as always, I love interacting with you guys. So hey, if you had saw the pay-per-view tonight, sound off. Let me know your thoughts about the event. You can sound off in our chat room that is via YouTube and also via our Discord server as well. As a matter of fact, let me actually sync in our Discord audience here. And there we go. Now we're good. Yeah, we're streaming. Keep it simple tonight. I'm streaming live on Discord and I'm streaming live on YouTube. So appreciate the love and the support as always. Remember, you enjoy the content, and if you're new, welcome. Hope you do enjoy the content. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, you do hit the subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Definitely be pumping it out. So look, I'm going to try to make this recap be as short as humanly possible. I know our longtime listeners, when they hear that, they get a little snicker. I know I do. And then we end up doing a normal show. But in case you had missed this Tuesday show, there was a Tuesday show that was released. It just didn't get uploaded to YouTube. There was a show that was put out on demand and on the downloads. I have Invisalign now. So basically I got braces, so to speak. So I'm still learning how to talk with these things. And, sometimes they kind of hurt my gums just a little tiny bit. So I'm just trying to talk here and there, as less as humanly possible. So the goal is to have this recap at most be like 40 minutes. If it's less than that, then that's great. So yeah, let's see what we can do with tonight, but I'm taking it one day at a time with these things. I'm starting to get used to them, but I've got a long way to go. I've got like at least 48 or 52 more weeks to go or something like that. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this pay-per-view without any further ado, man. All right, WWE Stomping Grounds coming to us from Tacoma, Washington, at the Tacoma Dome. That's a tongue twister, especially when you got these things on. The Tacoma Dome houses a maximum of 23,000. That's the seat capacity. And, of course, we have to address this as we're talking about this pay-per-view. WWE had a really tough time selling this bad boy out. They had a really tough time. And like we had talked about off and on for the past couple of weeks, but as recent as this past week's RCWR show, which is, what do you expect when, number one, you have a card that is basically identical to what you did at the last pay-per-view about 2 weeks ago, and then on top of that, you're introducing a new pay-per-view, right? Yeah, mainly the same card as you recycled before. That's what's really going to be kind of overkill for you. So at that point, it's, well, what are you going to do? What steps are you going to take to try to make this pay-per-view be as unpredictable as humanly possible, And I would say that honestly, not much unpredictability occurred during tonight's pay-per-view, but what I will say, as far as the wrestling, and let's really make sure that we set the tone here, I never once took a shit at any of the matches as far as terms of, well, how's the wrestling gonna be? I never did question that. I always felt that all of the talent was gonna try to do their best to rise to the occasion, but my main concern was, would it be enough to win over the fans in attendance, and would it be enough to win the fans watching all around the world? I got to give a mad shout out to the Tacoma fans. They came to this event. They were very lively. They were very energetic, and it really helped. I would have to say, and I would like to try to find the one fan that felt as though the crowd wasn't enough for them to really try to get into this pay-per-view, because from everything that I was seeing as far as my interactions throughout folks on social media and everything, it really felt as though we all collectively that pretty much saw this card a couple of weeks ago coming to this, we all really fed off of the crowd that was live in attendance. So, I mean, the Tacoma fans there, give it up to yourselves. Y'all did a fantastic job really bringing the energy, keeping us really invested in this, because there's definitely a couple of points where you're like, why am I watching this? So, I mean, look, we had the main event match of the night, which had saw Baron Corbin take on Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal title. Of course, one of the biggest questions going into this pay-per-view event was, well, who exactly did Baron Corbin get to be his special guest referee for this, right? I did not see any other podcaster. I did not see anybody else on social media go with the selection of who ultimately Baron had went with. A lot of us were going with the impression, well, you know, I saw Paul Heyman's name being thrown out there. I never did go the Paul Heyman route. And I think the main reason why I did not go the Paul Heyman route, all due respect to Paul Heyman, but he's picked up quite a significant amount of weight. And look, man, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're in your older years and you are just enjoying life. Hey, God bless you. I would just think with young kids in the picture, it would make you want to just kind of take a step back and say, well, let me do what I can so that I'm definitely living long enough to see my kids graduate from college, right? But to each its own. But for me, there was just no way I was picturing Paul Heyman with the amount of weight that he's packing currently being a referee. I just was not seeing that go down. So for me, that was just an automatic. But what I was leaning a little bit more towards, and I called it when I was offering preview and predictions on the RCWR show this week, I had said, well, I could see a scenario come about where Baron Corbin is somehow able to get the services of Brock Lesnar. Go back, check out the episode. I laid it out. I don't want to get all into the logistics of that, but the way I laid it out, it made perfect sense, right? Just how it was booked. You know, it's much more than just, oh, I'm just going to say this. I went into specific mechanics on why that made sense and how the whole match would play out. And I did it in as short amount of time as humanly possible. So the fact that WWE did not go that route and instead they went with Lacey Evans, it was an automatic, okay, you know what, at some point we're going to have Becky Lynch come out. And you almost kind of knew, now when you kind of play back in your mind as soon as Lacey Evans was revealed as a special guest referee, you kind of had in the back of your mind, once that moment went down of the announcement, holy shit, I should have seen this coming. And I'll tell you the reason why. You go back to how the pay-per-view had began. The pay-per-view had began officially with Becky Lynch kicking off Stomping Grounds. And she's not even out for 20 seconds. And Michael Cole in the game already are referencing how she and Seth Rollins, the power couple, both are defending their titles tonight. So as soon as you heard that, now that you play back Lacey Evans as a special guest referee, it connects, right? And I remember I had put a message out and I said, I don't think I did it on Twitter. It was a private message, I think it was. I'm not really sure, but I remember saying something along the lines of, wow, we're not even 60 seconds into the actual pay-per-view. Why are we name dropping the fact that these two are a couple? Why are we ramming that down fans' throats? Is something to come? Like, what's going on? And I left it alone. I didn't really think nothing much else of it. But now when you kind of play everything, it makes total sense why they dropped it the way that they dropped it at the beginning of the pay-per-view, right? But, man, the main event match for the WWE Universal title, the fans, it was interesting because Baron Corbin got the reactions as expected. By the way, Baron Corbin now pushing a little bit of a mustache. Looks like his mustache is barely connecting with his beard. It looks like he's trying to let it come in. I think he needs to grow it out a little bit more and see what happens. I mean, it's making him look a little bit more distinguished. I've always thought that having a little bit more facial hair, in the case of Baron Corbin, I always thought having a little bit more facial hair would actually help him out better, because for me, he looked a little bit too baby face-ish. Damn. Sorry, guys. It's the braces. He looked a little bit too much of a baby face for me. I really had a hard time taking him seriously as a heel. So, yeah, I always felt that he needed more stubble. The more he could grow, if he could get even fuller, the better. So, the fact that he's now got a mustache coming in, I hope he really does a bona fide job in just letting it grow out more as much as humanly possible. That way he can look a little bit more rugged. He can look a little bit more distinguished. He can kind of look a little bit more like a badass, look a little bit more like a meanie when it's all said and done. But he got the typical reactions that you would expect. Seth Rollins got the reactions you would expect. Crowd really, really popping for Seth Rollins. And so you're looking at this and you're kind of wondering, okay, so how is the arena going to do this match? Are they going to take a massive shit on it? How are they going to do this? But the crowd was really pumped up. They were really invested into this. But then once the announcement was made that Lacey Evans was the special guest referee, now they lost the fans, because now the fans were taking a massive shit on this match. They were chanting AEW, believe it or not. They were chanting all kinds of stuff during this, and you kind of felt as though, wow, that's not really cool. But hey, Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, we know these guys are going to have a decent match, right? You know, let's see what happens with that. But I have to say, Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins, they did a really good job. I thought they had really good chemistry in the ring tonight. It flowed very well. Now, look, when it's all said and done, you can play back in retrospect. Hey, look, should Baron Corbin been in the main event? I know that was something that a lot of people were talking about. I know Chris Jericho went on record saying, hey, this is just one of the many problems that WWE is having. Look at their main event match. I know he was very candid about that. And when it's all said and done, yeah, should Baron Corbin not been in the main event picture? Probably not. But given the circumstances for how that match was booked tonight, you know, I'm at that point right now where I hear what a lot of fans are saying. I do. Over the years, I've done so many shows over the years. I lost count. I think we're probably almost up to 700 shows collectively since 2011. And if there's been one recurring theme I've always heard off and on throughout the years, it's always been, man, I'm tired of these dinosaurs that are coming in and the new talents aren't being put over. Why can't we see, you know, more new talent? Why can't we see the current card? Why can't we see them close out shows and all this and all that? You know, and so finally you have a situation where, okay, well, you know, here you go, right? And Baron Corbin, I've told you guys, I've been very consistent with my critique of Baron Corbin. The man has been coming along. He really, really has. Should he have been in the main event match tonight? I think yes and no. And let me explain how I'm coming about that. Overall, yes, because of the way the match was booked and the fact that they incorporated Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. I think that was rather smart booking. If it just would have been a straight up, just take those supporting cast members out of the picture, and it's just pretty much Seth Rollins and freaking Baron Corbin, then nah, that probably honestly would not have been enough. It probably would have been very mediocre as fuck. So the fact that you added in a couple of other ingredients to that, you know, I think it was smart. I think it was smart on WWE's part. I loved how Lacey Evans, she played that beautifully as a special guest referee. That outfit was killer, by the way. That outfit was smoking freaking hot, man. I'm telling you. But Lacey Evans, I love how there was a couple of near falls there, and she's just taking her dear sweet time, counting, really milking the hell out of it. But the power that Lacey Evans has to basically make a match restart, make a match be a no count out, make a match be no disqualification. I just couldn't help but at one point, I didn't scream at the TV, but I did say out loud, because I was actually watching this with my girl. I said, okay, where is Triple H, who we did see earlier in the night, is in the gorilla position. He's helping produce the show or whatever. Okay, where's Shane McMahon? Where is Stephanie McMahon, right? Where's Vince McMahon? Where are these guys to come out and basically say, no, Lacey Evans, you are abusing your power as the referee. No more. We're done with this. This is not how we're going to have it go down. Hit the showers. You're done for tonight. I thought a special guest referee just pretty much had the power to go 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Or, hey, there's a submission. All right, it's over, right? So it's kind of one of those cases where you want to refer to the old WWE rule book, right? But that was kind of very questionable in itself that Lacey had that much freaking power, because it's like, wasn't even aware that the special guest referee would have that type of power, right? I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But I like how we had the near falls, count outs, all that shit, but Lacey was just bullshitting around, and then at one point Lacey just does not count at all. Seth Rollins is getting pretty steamed off, going face to face with her, and I mean, you kind of already know that, yeah, you can pretty much forget about a WWE male superstar physically being aggressive or attacking a female superstar, yet you can do it the other way around, right? You could do it that way. So, like, I thought it was kind of funny that some people, oh man, he's gonna give her the curb stomp. Nah, that ain't happening. Consider that they are a publicly traded company and all that shit. No, that's not happening. We saw Lacey Evans smack Seth Rollins a couple of times, and Baron Corbin capitalizing on Seth being distracted by Lacey. Lacey pretty much given, it wasn't a woman's right, but it was kind of like next to the best thing, as she gave Seth Rollins a low blow. Baron connects with the end of days, and then right as he was going for the cover, I want to say either there was a kick out, or pretty much at that point Becky Lynch had enough and she actually came running down. Yeah, it's coming back to me now. She comes running down the ramp, pretty much jumps on Lacey, beats the crap out of her. They're outside of the ring and everything. Remember, referee John Combs, remember, he had beef with, well, not he didn't have beef with Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin has beef with him from what had went down a couple of weeks back at the last pay-per-view event. We see him try to get control of the situation. Baron Corbin really was not trying to have him be in that ring with him, but he pretty much was like, all right, whatever, do your job. So goes in to Seth Rollins, pretty much closing moments of that. Baron Corbin, I believe he was looking for the end of days. Seth Rollins managed to counter from that. It was a beautiful countering sequence that they did. Pretty much ended with Seth Rollins doing the curb stomp. Retains his WWE Universal title that way. Crowd celebrating. The crowd, after they took a shit on Lacey, they really started slowly getting into this match. Yeah, there were some other chants here and there, but they really started getting into it. I think it was basically the story that was being told, Lacey being there and like, oh man, the near falls, man, this broad ain't counting for Seth. What the hell is going on? And she's getting the type of reactions that she should be getting. All that worked beautifully overall for that match. Good storytelling that they did. As far as the finish itself, I had no problem with the finish. I honestly did not. I thought everything was well timed out. that match almost felt like it went about 20 minutes. I don't know how much more time you needed to invest in it, because after all, this pay-per-view had came on quite early tonight. Okay, so I mean, the fact that you can have a pay-per-view pretty much end at 10:15 p.m. Eastern, and you know, most folks gotta go to work the next day or whatever. I mean, hell, take it, right? So otherwise we'd be here complaining that the main event match was too long, you know. So I thought they booked it rather well. Power couple standing there strong, pretty much closing out the pay-per-view, giving each other the googly eyes. The man gives the other man a slap on the butt. You know, you're thinking, okay, where's the kissing? Where's the, right? We don't see any of that, right? But we've been hearing on and on and on about, oh, you know, they're dating, all this, all that. So, you know, you're kind of like, all right, well, where's the kissing? You know, y'all been hyping up how they're a couple for these past couple of weeks. Where's the kissing? Are we going to go home with that? Right? I mean, come on. Nothing wrong with that. But we didn't get that. So, you know, it is what it is. What I personally had loved to seeing that, well, for all the talk that they were doing, yeah. Instead of just looking at each other. I mean, it was very drawn out, too. I mean, you guys that saw the pay-per-view, I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, they just kept giving each other the googly eye, circling around each other, throwing up each other's hands a couple of times. You're like, would you fucking just hug and kiss already and just get the damn thing over with? And, like, it never happened. So, you know, it was what it was. Let's talk about how the pay-per-view pre-show had kicked off. We had that triple threat match that consisted of Drew Gulak taking on Tony Nese and Akira Tozawa, of which Drew Gulak had defeated Tony Nese to become your new cruiserweight champion. That was a fantastic 205 live matchup. It really, really was. I wish that would have somehow been able to make it to the actual pay-per-view card, because that match was that damn good. And I did put a tweet out there. I said, you know, this match should definitely get an honorable mention for a match of the year candidate from WWE. That match was actually that damn good. If you guys did not get an opportunity to check out the pre-show match, maybe you can catch it on YouTube, Daily Motion, or maybe you can catch the encore on the WWE Network, but of the pre-show or something like that. But that match is definitely worth going out of your way and checking out. I really, really had loved that. Look, man, Tony Nese, I said it off and on about him. Great fucking look. Great fucking look. He got the physique down. You know, I love it. But the personality, it is very, very flat, like a motherfucker. And then meanwhile, you go over to Drew Gulak, and Drew Gulak has been putting the pieces together over these past several months, even right down to how he looks. Now, to a degree, he may still have the same kind of build as he had when he first came into the WWE. But as far as the face goes, I mean, I love the fact that he has grown more facial hair. And he has a little bit of a mean streak that's coming about him. Gino, what's going on, Gino? It's giving him pretty much a bit of a mean streak, right? I'm feeling all of that that's going on with Tony Nese. And like I said on the RCWR show this week, I said, honestly, the way you have this match pretty much set up, you know, when it's all said and done, maybe you could somehow let Akira Tozawa be the one that eats the pin, or you know, it takes the submission, and then you can have Tony Nese say, you know, well, I never was pinned, or I didn't submit, so, you know, you ain't officially the champion until you properly put me down, or something like that. But we didn't even really see it play out quite like that. You know, it was pretty much Drew Gulak, I mean, no fucking doubt. I mean, him basically pinning the champion, right? So, I mean, that was a good, strong performance from all three men. I got to give a shout out to Tozawa, by the way. I loved how he was pushing his, I think he was in the Spider-Man spirit. I think he's getting ready for Spider-Man Homecoming. His attire tonight was Spider-Man inspired. I was really loving that. Also, at one point during the match, I love how Tony Nese had did like this pickup. It was almost kind of like a one-arm throwaway power slam, right? It was a sick-ass fucking spot. Like, basically, Akira Tozawa, he had applied a arm bar basically, and he had his legs and all that wrapped around Tony Nese's arm. And I love how Tony Nese, of course, Tozawa is grabbing onto the arm like a motherfucker, and he's holding on for dear life. But I love how Tony Nese just pretty much picked up dude with his one arm and pretty much just, while holding on to the back, just pretty much ran and then just flung Tozawa back first into the corner turnbuckles. That was a sweet ass fucking spot. I love that spot tremendously. I ate all of that shit up. It was a good fucking match. It was a really good match. I was very proud of all three guys. And like I said to some of the people in Discord, I said, damn, this makes me now want to watch 205 Live on a regular basis now. Like, that match was that fucking good. Like, I liked it. And hearing that Chad Gable is now over there, and, you know, he's been doing pretty damn good over there so far. Like, this week, effective this week, I'm going to check out 205. Because I got to be honest, the last time I watched 205 regularly was back when, oh God, was when Brian Kendrick was champion, and then when Austin Aries was champion, when my boy, Pac, Neville, when he was champion, and pretty much after those guys, it was like, okay, you know, whatever, right? So I hadn't checked it out in months, but seeing what I saw tonight, and then the addition of Chad Gable, I'm gonna check it out this week, and I'm gonna see what the hell is going on with them, man. So I've been hearing from a lot of people, 205 has really been stepping it up. So, you know, and if the reports are true that Triple H has basically taken 205 over again, as opposed to it being a Vince McMahon project, then, you know, yeah, sign me up. I'll definitely check it out, because we all know Raw and SmackDown, it ain't always popping, right? It ain't always popping. You guys enjoying the post show so far? If you are, make sure, if you haven't done so already, you do smash the like button, share, retweet, all that good stuff. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about the content. I got a poll that is up right now. We only got one up on Twitter, and we only have it also on Facebook. I'm asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's WWE Stomping Grounds pay-per-view event? I know we got some of you guys, you want the love on YouTube, and I will definitely hook you guys up in just a hot second. But let me go to Facebook right here and find out. By the way, I'm not done about that 205 Live match, because post-match, I've got some strong criticism towards the WWE. I'll get to that in just a hot second, but let me get to the polling results here. Right now, it's still early on Facebook, but right now, asking you guys, what did you think about the pay-per-view event? It's pretty much 50-50 right now on Facebook. Once again, it's pretty much 50-50 on Facebook. So interesting poll right there. And let's go ahead and let's see what you guys are saying via Twitter here. By the way, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. All right, so right now on Twitter, we have 12% of you giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down, 31% of you giving it a thumbs up, 35% of you staying in the middle, 22% of you didn't watch and won't. That's where we are right now. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create the poll on YouTube for you guys, and I'm going to pretty much give you all the same option here. So bear with me one second. You may hear a little bit of audio feedback, so hang on one second here. Bear with me a second here. Let's go to community. Okay, and let's get the poll up here. All I got to do is paste that, and I'm gonna give you guys the same polling options. All right, so we'll do a thumbs up, and we'll do a thumbs down, and we will do a staying in the middle, and one more, and then we'll make this go live. Didn't watch and won't. Okay, so YouTube, you guys now have the same poll with the same options. Head on over to the community tab, and you can vote now. And we'll come on back to that one more time before we get ready to wrap up the show for tonight. Let me see how we're doing on recording length here. Okay, let's go with the rest of the matches here, okay? Because the goal is to try to do about 45 minutes here. Yeah, by the way, with regards to the 205 match, I did not like the fact that once the match was over, Charlie Caruso and the gang, they did not go, wow, and they did not put over the match. Instead, they just went right to putting over all the matches that you're going to be seeing on tonight's Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. I thought that was such a slap in the face, because it's bad enough you have the stigma of, well, why should I give a fuck about 205 Live? But here you just had this phenomenal match, and, you know, I put the question out there. It was a question that did not need to be answered. It was just more of a statement, because I basically asked, who booked this shit? Because from a post-production standpoint, with a phenomenal match that you have in there, whoever's directing and writing this shit, you should have been able to pan on back to the guys and at least have them all for like about 60 seconds say, yeah, that was a really damn good matchup. And this was an opportunity for them to say, you know, hey, man, if you guys aren't checking out 205 Live, what you saw in that ring just now, I'm telling you that's pretty much the type of action that you get on a weekly basis. So be sure to check out 205 Live, blah, 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 blah. Do the domino chain effect, man. That's good marketing. That's good brand awareness, right? Especially if you're trying to get more viewership, you know, more of a base for that particular show. Like, don't you think it makes all the sense in the world to do a full court blitz? I'm just saying. Austin, I'm doing good, man. My ankle's feeling a lot better. My mouth, not so much. I'm getting used to these damn braces, but it is what it is. Yeah, we talked about, kind of teased it a little bit, but Becky Lynch kicking off the pay-per-view against Lacey Evans. It was obvious that Lacey Evans was the veteran in this. Now, I don't want people to say, oh, no shit, but I say that because when you go back and watch this match, and I would love to believe that Matthew from Botchamania is gonna have like a field day with this pay-per-view. There were so many Becky Lynch audibles, it wasn't even funny. I mean, you heard her more than once saying shit, you know, just calling out spots and shit to Lacey Evans. It was very obvious, very fucking obvious. You know, Lacey, I love the attire that she had going on tonight. It was kind of like a New Orleans Mardi Gras type of vibe that she had going on. It was almost kind of, yeah, I'm gonna leave it just like that. It was exactly just how I described it. I was really feeling it. You know, it was a, you know, a good matchup, and I kind of chuckled a little bit because at one point the fans, they actually had chanted Lacey sucks, and I found that funny because it was like, okay, you guys say that literally after Becky Lynch had botched. And there was a spot, and you guys will probably know what I'm talking about. There was a spot where Becky Lynch, she went to the corner turnbuckles, and it was almost like she was trying to do a jump step side kick to the face of Lacey. But, you know, she kind of timed it wrong, and then she tried to do it again. So when you see her fuck up the first time, you know, Lacey's going in, you know, ready to sell it. And then once she sees that Becky is not ready, you just see her like back off, and she's kind of looking like, what the fuck do I do? And so you see Becky trying to do it again. And then Lacey's kind of like, so, you know, their chemistry was a bit shaky tonight. You know, it was very, very obvious that Lacey was relying heavily on Becky for direction. I don't know. For me, it wasn't quite Lacey's best outing since she's been on the main roster so far. I must admit, you know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't really feel that their chemistry, their synergy was really on point in this matchup. I just was, okay, let's be done with this already, you know. Lacey Evans tapping now to the disarmor. Becky Lynch barely barely freaking applied it, and Lacey just taps out. And so you're kind of putting in your head, okay, so now Becky Lynch is 2-0 against Lacey Evans. And for me, respectfully, okay, so we do all these little references. Oh, Lacey Evans, she has the SWAT team experience. Oh, she was in the military. She actually was involved in this war, and, she actually killed people overseas. And you're like, wow. So this is one badass fucking babe that, you don't want to piss her off because she has seen her fair share of fights. Ooh, man, like, oh, okay, this is a real ass kicker. Okay, cool. But, like, keep in mind, this is WWE that's programming this in our heads, right? They're doing all of this shit and trying to put her over and everything. And yet, when it's all said and done, none of that means jack shit when you pretty much have her tap out not even 2 seconds to a goddamn disarmor. Like, what the fuck? I mean, for me, it just really felt like tonight WWE had devalued Lacey Evans. I was happy that they brought her back as the special guest referee. I didn't quite mind that. And honestly, if in the weeks to come, the end result is Lacey having an alliance with Baron Corbin, you know what? Because I think looking into the crystal ball, that's ultimately what we're probably going to see. We're probably going to see an intergender matchup with the 4 of those cats. And I honestly would have no problem with that. I don't think anybody else would necessarily have a problem with that either. It's a nice switch up. But, Lacey Evans now 0-2 against Becky Lynch. You got to have those two separate now. If you're going to have them face off again, let it be what I just proposed a few seconds ago, an intergender matchup, and you let Corbin and Lacey go over. Hell, if you want to make things even more interesting, yes, it would mean that Lacey Evans would go 0-3, right? And Baron Corbin would basically go, what? Baron Corbin would go 0-3 as well, wouldn't he? Because isn't he now, or is he 0 and... Yes, no, I'm right. He would also go 0-3. Or what I was about to propose is, do you do an intergender matchup where the Universal title and the Raw title are on the line? So basically, if Baron pins Seth, then Baron and Lacey become the respected champions. Or if it's Lacey that pins Becky, then they, right? I would have a problem with something like that. Of course, you could also throw in there, okay, is Brock Lesnar going to be some type of a factor? You could always kind of, just switching it up a little bit, right? But next matchup, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn defeating Big E and Xavier Woods. I love the psychology going into this matchup. Obviously, the real threat is Big E. Take out the powerhouse, focus on the little guy, try to be done with the match as quick as humanly possible. I love how pretty much as soon as the bell rang, KO and freaking Sami Zayn, they make sure that they take out Big E, because it was Xavier Woods that pretty much was starting the match, and they pretty much just ganged up on Big E, took him out for a little bit, focused their attention on Xavier Woods, kept getting a couple of near falls here and there. So I love how the pace was set for that matchup. And I loved how pretty much, eventually we would see Big E, he would get the hot tag and all of that other stuff. But, when you saw how the beginning of the psychology was for the matchup, you kind of said, okay, well, 8 out of 10, the finish is going to be they take out Big E and they gang up on Xavier. And that's exactly how they pretty much had did that. I liked how that was booked. I do. Honestly, KO, Sami Zayn, they needed this W. And I had laid this out when I was bringing it up on the RCWR show this week. I said they need this. They kind of need to have a little bit of momentum swing in their favor so they can go to the next Raw and SmackDown. And, they needed that. New Day, they can afford a L here and there. They're the fucking New Day. The fans are behind them no matter what. But for me, with this newly reformed
KO, Zayn, it just kind of felt like, nah, they kind of need a little going in their favor. So that match, that played out pretty good. I actually want to see these two teams lock up again. I thought their chemistry actually had flowed pretty good together. Wouldn't mind seeing them go at it again. By the way, I think I'm the only person that mentioned this on social media, but did anybody else notice Sami Zayn's tights tonight? I don't know if the symbol on his left leg is something that he pushes regularly, but for the first time I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, that looks like 100% damn familiar. Like I've seen that before. And I'm going, where have I seen that before? And then boom, I didn't even have to research it. It just clicked in my mind within seconds. I said, holy shit, he's got the fucking logo of 1999's Rage Against the Machine's cover art for their album The Battle of Los Angeles. And I thought that was kind of cool. So, if it's a case where quietly Sami Zayn is a Rage fan, and what he had on his leg, if that's something that he's been pushing kind of regularly, I would have to rely on you. I don't really know. I just looked at his attire tonight and I just kind of was like, wow, it's got the Rage Against the Machine vibe. Like, what the fuck? And the same pose, same little graffiti thing, way it was outlined, all that identical to the Battle of Los Angeles album cover. So if he's a fan of Rage, I think that's badass. It makes me fuck with Sami Zayn even more, because I'm a huge Rage Against the Machine fan. Samoa Joe lost the United States title to Ricochet. Yeah, Ricochet. Ricochet had a new sound effect in his theme. You all might have missed it, maybe weren't even paying attention, but you hear a gun being fired. So now you're kind of like, oh, okay, so now he has gunfire. Okay, I guess Ricochet. Okay, I kind of get it. Okay, whatever. But yeah, Ricochet defeating Samoa Joe to become the new United States champion. So left field. It really, really was. I told you guys, and again, I hate to keep referring back to this week's RCWR show, but I made a lot of very valid points on the show this week. And one of the other points that I had made, I said, look, going into this match, I said it totally is left field, because you would think that on paper it would have made more sense for Miz and Samoa Joe to be feuding for the United States title, because you already had planted the seeds with the Miz TV segment. So it made all the sense in the world when you did that number one contenders match to see who would face Joe for his title. It made all the sense in the world to have Miz come out of that. But the fact that it was Ricochet, I think this might have had took a lot of people off. For those that did say, nah, Ricochet is going to get that, I mean, more power to you. But for me, it was just really weird seeing Ricochet come out of that as the number one contender. I did not think that he would come out tonight as the new U.S. champion. I mean, after all, Samoa Joe barely has held on to the title for, I don't even think he's held on to it for 3 weeks. So, I thought for sure it was going to be Miz, Joe, eventually Dominic gets incorporated, and then somehow Rey Mysterio comes back. But, this was kind of weird. I mean, look, as far as the unpredictability factor, well, there's one, okay, wasn't expecting that to happen. I was fine with that. And, considering the news that had happened with Ricochet this week, apparently he likes, if that is him, I mean, hey, I ain't passing no judgment. I'm sure some of you guys had heard about that. Apparently he likes checking the garbage disposal. And I don't mean in a, okay, it's the yearly routine. I mean, it's potentially, he likes checking out the garbage disposal on a regular basis, right? That's about as far as I'm going to get to touching that subject. By the way, line of the night goes to Renee Young, who at one point during the Ricochet Samoa Joe match, she says, let's not forget the hands of Ricochet. And I'm kind of going to myself, yeah, Let's actually forget the hands of Ricochet, because if it's true, we kind of know where those hands have been. You can only help but hope that he took extra time out to wash his hands properly and make sure he gets up under those fingernails extremely good. And that's the worst feeling in the world, is after you do your thing in the bathroom and you're touching your face, rub your chin, and then you go, uh-oh, you go, and then you look, oh fuck, and then you gotta go back in the bathroom and you gotta act like you're a fucking kleptomaniac, and you gotta just scrub that crap from underneath your fingernails. That's the worst feeling in the world, man. Ricochet becoming your new United States champion by doing the 630. Did the 630 on Samoa Joe for the W. Backstage segment, we saw Ricochet. He had got congratulated by Charlotte. Okay, so Charlotte was there. She didn't have a match, but Charlotte was there tonight. Charlotte did not interfere in any type of way, as some had thought maybe it was going to play out. No, but Charlotte was backstage greeting Ricochet, Heavy Machinery, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Seth Rollins, and the King of Kings, Triple H, giving Ricochet a hug, giving him a congrats. From there, Heavy Machinery came out. Heavy Machinery lost to Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan for the SmackDown Tag Titles. The crowd was really fucking energetic during this matchup. Chants of Drive a Prius. Yes, for y'all that were watching, you did hear it correctly. They did actually chant Drive a Prius. They also chanted We Recycle. They were chanting Daniel Bryan. I mean, they were really, really lively during this matchup. I ate this shit up. For me, Daniel Bryan was the MVP. I would have to say, of all the matches tonight, this match and of course the 205 Live match were exceptionally fucking good. Daniel Bryan was the MVP of this match. He made those guys look like $1 million fucking dollars. He did. I mean, look, not for nothing, Eric Rowan, he did his part too, and clashing with Otis. And by the way, Otis, I can kind of see why Upper Brass likes Otis. I do. He not only does he have a unique look to him, but he kind of reminds me of Jim Belushi, Jim John Belushi. Take your pick. He also has the Chris Farley. I mean, just all over. Chris Farley, he comes off as a very charismatic, funny fucking dude. Okay, so I see that. Some of the stuff they've put him in has been kind of whacked, it's been kind of flatlined, but I'm really warming up to the guy. Sadly I didn't get a chance to see that much of his work in NXT, because I told you guys, when it comes to NXT I usually binge when they get ready to do a takeover. I usually catch up on the last 4-8 episodes, and I kind of figure out what's been happening that way. But Daniel Bryan was really the fucking MVP. He really put those guys over fucking big time, and I hope that with what they did tonight, Heavy Machinery can continue to build off of it, and maybe ultimately these two tag teams will lock up again for the titles. But hey, one other thing with regards to Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan holding on to these titles, can we go back to the eco-friendly titles? Because I think that's kind of bullshit that these guys are just walking around with leather strap titles. It's like, where's the consistency here? It's like Daniel Bryan made a big old ruckus out of pushing leather and all that. Let's see some eco-friendly tag titles. I don't really think that's asking too much. Bayley taking on Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown women's title. This was almost technically my piss break. I'm sure it was probably a piss break for a lot of you guys out there. For me, it was okay. It was decent. Nothing to, put it to you this way. If you didn't watch this match, you didn't miss anything. There was nothing spectacular. I mean, this honestly just felt like a regular SmackDown match. It honestly did. It did not really have that pay-per-view vibe to it, you know? And it's like, well, who do you blame? I don't think it's a blame game, honestly. I don't think it's that. I think it's just literally a case of, you know, both girls didn't really rise to the occasion. Closing moments of this matchup, Bliss had tried to go for her Twisted Bliss finisher, but Nikki Cross had did a run in and was distracting everybody. It was quite a weird spot. The referee talks to Nikki Cross, you know, has her, you know, get back down and everything, go to her side and chill. Bliss pushes Bayley back to the mat, tries to go for the Twisted Bliss again, but unfortunately lands on her knees. This basically had set up Bayley to connect with the Bayley to Bayley suplex for the pin and the retain. Again, this pretty much had played out the way I said this was going to play out when I offered matching predictions. When I offered preview and prediction picks, you know, I pretty much had said Nikki Cross is going to get involved. I laid it out. I said she's going to try to do something that is going to benefit Alexa because she wants to prove her loyalty to Alexa, prove her friendship bond to Alexa, but it's going to backfire. You know, and it did. You know, what we saw tonight, you know, it was a no-brainer. I think the real question was just, you know, are these two girls really going to be able to rise to the occasion and give us a quality type of matchup? And with all due respect to both women, if I had the power of, okay, this match is going to go and this match is going to go, in retrospect, this match should have been the pre-show match. And what the 205 boys had did, that should have taken this slot right here, with all due respect. Next matchup, Drew McIntyre losing to Roman Reigns. Shane McMahon was there at ringside. You know, as soon as you saw Shane O'Mac, you already knew, okay, what's he gonna do here, right? You know, I'm tired. I'm just exhausted of the whole Shane McMahon show. I just am. I'm tired of Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, and I'm just tired of all of that shit. But yeah, we keep getting it. You know, it's like that nasty ass fruitcake. You know, I like a good piece of fruitcake once in a while, but I've had my fair share of nasty ass fruitcakes, and it's like, isn't it good? And it's like you just keep being served that same nasty ass dish over and over and over until one day that dish is being served and they're like, hey, where's Freddie? Where's Michael? You know, it's fruitcake time, and it's like they're nowhere to be found. Well, Freddie and Michael, they're down at the fucking White Castle binging on some nice cheeseburgers, onion rings. You know, they're getting their sliders on, man. I'm tired. To say tired is a fucking understatement. It's an understatement. Roman Reigns, his symbol tonight, he had the whole lime green thing going on. It made me want a fucking Monster Energy drink. I couldn't really tell what the fuck was going on with his symbol tonight until they did a really good close-up and he had a dog in the middle of his symbol, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I still want a Monster Energy drink, because when you just kind of pan back, it looks as though that's what he's gearing up for. Yeah, man, I'm really tired of these guys, and the bleeding just won't stop. I like how Shane kept interfering, even managed to do a coast to coast and all that, but somehow Roman Reigns just kept prevailing. Stupid booking 101. If it looks as though Roman Reigns is about to pick up a W, doing whatever he did to Drew McIntyre, and Shane McMahon pulls the referee by the leg out of the ring, doesn't it make sense that the referee says, you, Shane, you're out of here? Well, okay, that's true, but referee, remember, Shane McMahon signs your check. So, like, just for storyline continuity and just to let the viewers at home, okay, that makes sense. At least have the ref do that, and then Shane counter right back with, do you know who the fuck I am? You know I'm a McMahon, right? Do you know I can fire you right here on the spot? No, you don't tell me I'm out of here. I tell you you're out of here. Now get your ass back in there and continue the match. You know, you're not going to throw me out. You're not going to throw this match out. Get in there and do your job, right? That would have made all the sense in the world, and I would have been okay with it. But for the referee to not, you know, Shane, you're out of here, or throw the match out, or, you know, give Roman Reigns the win via disqualification because of Shane's interference, was stupid. It was just stupid booking for me. Yeah, just stupid booking for me. All right, what's next here? What else? We got another match to talk about? I think we got one more to talk about, don't we? Let me look here. Just looking in my show notes here. Yeah, we got one more match to talk about, and we're pretty much done here. We got the steel cage match for the WWE title. Dolph Ziggler taking on Kofi Kingston. This was actually good. Oh, by the way, before I talk any further about that matchup, remember when I said the bleeding wouldn't stop? Well, sadly, backstage segment. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre, they were caught up too, and basically Shane McMahon said, hey, big dog, Roman Reigns, Monday Night Raw, you're going to be in a match. It's going to be a handicap match against me, Drew McIntyre, and I'm going to show you whose yard this really is. See you Monday. So, yeah, the bleeding continues. All right. One more match to talk about, then we're pretty much done. Steel cage match for the WWE title. Dolph Ziggler taking on Kofi Kingston. This was good storytelling. Yeah, damn good storytelling. I actually like this match. This was actually much better. It was actually much better than what they had did at the Saudi Arabia joint. I would definitely give them that. The finish to this was actually pretty awesome as well. Steel cage door is open. Dolph Ziggler is, you know, crawling, you know, and he's about to touch the mat. He's about to fully get out, and then Kofi Kingston just basically runs over, leapfrogs over the ropes, basically leapfrogs, you know, out to the floor to retain his WWE title. That was good. I love that. And the best part about this, New Day members Big E, Xavier Woods, they were not out there. They were not out there in any type of form. So Dolph Ziggler had got exactly what he had wanted. These two, they did good. They did good. Just a little bit that I had saw, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, or even try to put up a front. I would say out of 100%, I probably had saw about 25% of this matchup. I had the audio playing in the background, because at this point, it was pretty much time to get ready for the show. And to people that are asking, wait, so they had the two main titles pretty much go back to back to close out the pay-per-view? Yes, they did. That is exactly how they did it tonight. That should make a lot of people happy that they had the main two major titles pretty much close out the pay-per-view. So the 25% really kicks in by basically me seeing the last 10 minutes of the matchup. So, you know, they did okay tonight. You know, I'm a little bit tired of the whole Dolph Ziggler, it should have been me. I mean, have him come out to that Eric Clapton song, you know, what's that Eric Clapton song that he had sung, that he sung? I think he sung it with Sting, not the wrestler. Sting, it was on one of his greatest hits compilations. I think it was called Could Have Been Me or Should Have Been Me. Hang on a second. I'll tell you guys exactly the song. It was Probably Me. That's the name of the song. And it was on Sting's Fields of Gold Best Of album. I'm just picturing that song every single time fucking Dolph Ziggler comes out. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, cry you a fucking river, dude. Like, yeah, we get it, seriously. But honestly, we just need to be done with the Dolph Ziggler Kofi Kingston feud now. You know, I need to see greener pastures. I need to see better challengers. And, you know, I'm going to throw a curveball out there. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. But one thing that comes into my mind right now is the fact that Nakamura has been off TV for a little bit. So, you know, maybe we're going to see Kofi Kingston's next threat for his title come in the form of Nakamura. And if that were to happen, I honestly would have no problem with that. I think the two of them would tell a damn good story in the ring. I think that would be a phenomenal matchup, right? I know that there's the language barrier issue, but I think that's something that WWE can easily get around if they do it just right. I think if you can kind of have Nakamura be in post-production segments, basically give Nakamura the Bray Wyatt treatment with his Funhouse. Do Nakamura like that. Let all the talking be post-production, right? Or sorry, pre-production. That's the proper terminology I should be using. Pre-production, so pre-tape his shit and tell those stories. And then anytime Nakamura is live, just have him keep getting one-ups on Kofi Kingston, set it up ultimately for their match. You pretty much go that way, because I'm kind of thinking, okay, so where's the next threat going to come from? And just kind of looking at the scale of SmackDown right now, looking at the talent. I mean, I don't know how much longer the Bulgarian Brute Rusev is going to be out, but, looking at the card, I'm looking at Nakamura. Honestly, Nakamura, let's see what he can do, right? Whether Kofi retains or not is irrelevant to me. I'm just thinking as far as the standpoint of trying to tell us a good story and have a good matchup. And both of those you can cross off. So let's see what they can do with that. But that's it. That's your WWE Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. Let's get to some of you guys' comments here before we get ready to wrap it up. And then also, let's take a look at the polling results one more time. Appreciate the super chats. Thanks, Gino. Hey, man, super chats are appreciated as always, man. Chime on in with the super chats. We love the super chats. Also want to give a shout out to our Patreon members, because without them and some of the advertisers we get to work with on a regular basis, cool content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. So we do want to take the time out and thank our Patreon members. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR show. You get to check out awesome bonus audio and video content, half of which you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Exclusively, we just did a new 30 with Lee where I reviewed the final season of Jessica Jones. That was released just the other day. We've got Wrestling with the Topics that we're going to be reviewing. Recording. I think we're going to record that at this point Monday. We were trying to do it today, but Little Missus had to run some errands. And yeah, by the way, I want to give a shout out to, I think it's Beth Copeland. I'm not talking about Beth Phoenix, by the way. I am talking about actually Beth Chapman. Yes, that's the name, Beth Chapman. Her name may sound familiar to you all. She is the wife of Dog the Bounty Hunter. If you guys were ever fans of that show, send your thoughts, your prayers to Dog's way. I'm sure he would appreciate it all throughout social media. His Twitter is Dog Bounty Hunter. Dog Bounty Hunter. Sadly, his wife, who has been battling throat cancer, I think within the past 6 to 8 months, she is in a coma right now. Again, she is in the hospital and she is in a coma. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. They've been together since 1989. Yeah, 1989. So do want to send thoughts, prayers. Not necessarily condolences. I think I said condolences a few seconds ago. I didn't mean to say that. Forgive me for being that premature. But thoughts, best wishes, speedy recovery, send them his way. I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to Patreon members, Anthony Missionary Thomas, my good buddy from Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Sean Kenter, Justin Rabach, Michael Wolf, Joe Raymond Jr., and John Davis. Shout out to all of our cats there. Patreon.com/RCWR show. All right, let's see what else we got here. Jay King said, fantastic undercard, poor finish. Shaba! very poor, had its moments. Okay. Yes, my ankle is feeling better, Aussie. Thank you for that. But once again, it's all about the mouth, man. It's all about the fucking mouth. See what else we got here. What is going on here? Yep. I see you. I see you. What's going on here? I don't know who that is. I got a friend request on Discord. If I don't know you, I'm probably not gonna accept. That's kind of weird. I never saw that before in my life. Take a look at the polling results here. Let's see what we got here. Bear with me here, guys. I'll load this up again. Polling results. See where we are here. Once again, the polling results is on YouTube. So you guys on YouTube checking this out, go have fun. We got a tie at 40%. Thumbs up. Didn't watch and won't. And we have 20% of you that are staying in the middle for the pay-per-view. And let's see what we got for Twitter here. Let's go back to Twitter. Twitter. All right, let's see what we got here. We've got 16% of you giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. A tie at 32%. Half of you are staying in the middle. The other half, thumbs up. 20% didn't watch and won't. And let's hit Facebook one last time. Let's see here, Facebook. And we'll follow up on the polling result again on Tuesday's RCWR show for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Loading. Here we go. All right, so we got a couple of more votes that have come in on Facebook. I have a feeling that the people checking out the show was like, wait a minute. All right, so it's about, wow, man, it's almost divided. So it's about, that's a close one. Wow. It's about 55% on Facebook giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. It's about 55%. And the other half is pretty much just giving it a thumbs down. So this is pretty neck to neck. I'm very curious where this is going to be in about 24 hours. So very, very curious. Let me know what you guys had thought about the pay-per-view. For those of you that maybe are going to be checking out the show on demand, let me know. For those of you that maybe are looking for the download of this, it's not going to be available until Tuesday's RCWR show. That's how we're going to start switching it up now. Kind of makes a little bit of sense because, you know, it's like now that we're back on our Tuesday shows, there's really not going to be that much news to be talking about. So it kind of makes a lot of sense to just go on ahead and, you know, give it to you guys on Tuesday. You know, but we're coming back. We're coming back Tuesday. New episode for you guys. We'll be back to our old time slot, 10 p.m. Eastern. We were supposed to go live, return Tuesday last week, but my ankle was acting up pretty damn bad and work was so I just kind of took it easy for that whole week. But I ended up recording, I think it was Wednesday night. I recorded the show and then I put it out on the downloads for you guys to check out. But going forward, the shows are definitely going to be much shorter than what you guys normally get. So just FYI. Shout out to everybody that checked out the show live. Those that's going to be checking it out on demand. You enjoy, make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Most importantly, click on the bell icon so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And that is going to do it. I'm out of here. Wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. A very good night and a very good morning. Adios.